thought I would do a little something different today. Now that I have my capture card working, do a little bit of just kind of a quick demonstration. Some of the stuff that SteamOS can do with the Steam controller in particular, and yeah, just thought I'd run through some of these. Just kind of rapid succession. Just kind of give you a quick overview of what's available, what games work, what things don't work so well. So there are a couple of issues with the controller. Now I do have to mention that the controller that I have is the first prototype. So if you're familiar with it, yeah, there. This is the one that it looks like. So it's got the AB and the XY split on the that middle area. So the AB and the XY are the buttons, the 4 buttons on the outside of that middle area. Makes things kind of tricky for some games, in particular first-person shooters. So let's see, something like Borderlands would be. So you have to get kind of creative with how you're going to use the controller. And as you can see, I kind of remapped it to where mostly works the way that I'm comfortable playing. One of the great things about it is that you can go in and modify every single button. Give it a name, tell it exactly what you want it to do. Like you see this one, the R, or the right mouse button, is highlighted, so that's the what it does is it acts like the right mouse button when you press the left trigger. So cancel that. I don't want to change any of those settings because it's kind of this one I've been kind of working on because it doesn't get everything. One of the main issues that I've been having with it is since Borderlands has so many buttons that you can do stuff with. I did just find out earlier today that you can actually right-click on some of the stuff and get a contextual menu in-game. So that helps. But it's not ideal yet. But it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. Alright. Going back out. See? So basically I just figured I would hop in and, I don't know, just pick a few games. Maybe a little Dust. Because that one's kind of an action-y platformer. And maybe do some Half-Life 2. Maybe a little bit of Guacamelee. We'll just see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's see what I got here. Alright, this one I know I have installed. Yeah. I think this was a basic game, so there wasn't a whole lot to it. Okay, so that's escape. Jump walk. Okay. Some of these I have to remember, go back in and look at the buttons to see exactly how I had them set up. I do prefer still mouse and keyboard, but I do have to say that the controller here is probably the closest I've seen to mouse and keyboard. Pretty much ever. Like you can see you can move around pretty quick, and then just do kind of a quick turn, kind of like flicking a mouse. So it works out pretty well. You got your normal movements. You can't do a crouch here. I can jump though. Oh, that's walk. That's why that was. It wasn't a crouch. Okay. Alright, so let's do that one's good. Okay, so now since the controller that I have is set up basically to emulate mouse and keyboard and not an actual controller, you have to, this is where it gets a little tricky. You have to remember what keys you assign to what. So now I assigned the left thumb pad to 4-way control and did the standard WASD in there. And then there's a little paddle underneath the left thumb pad where your basically your ring finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger will kind of rest on that pad. That's where I have shift. And then jump. By default, I've noticed a lot of games, by default, if they don't have support natively built in yet for the controller, a lot of the games will map clicking on the left pad, the left thumb pad, as the spacebar or the jump. And I find that that doesn't work out well for me, because when I'm moving, it doesn't, because you kind of rest your thumb on the pad to move around, and when I click the pad, sometimes I'll notice, like especially if I'm kind of like trying to do a precise jump somewhere, if I click a pad, you notice it moves forward, because if you're normally just click it in the center, then it would be fine. But if you aren't exactly on the center, then you might overshoot what you're trying to do. So I've found that separating the jump from the movement works better for me. So I set it to the little pad that is underneath the right pad, for the middle ring and pinky finger on your right hand to do that. So that's the space bar. So that way I can move, and then if I need to do a precise jump, I can just jump, or I can hit a direction and jump. And it all works out good. So now of course, moving the mouse around, and then right click or left click is on the right trigger. Okay, so that's the basic controls, and that's how I set most of my FPS type games up. And I'll usually do the left trigger, obviously, as the right click, and it's got 2 bumpers, left and right. Those will be different things, like in what was I just on Borderlands? The left bumper I'll have set to grenades. The right bumper I'll have set to the melee, and and then of course the A, B, and X, Y do different things, like different actions cancel an action, or whatever. Well, we'll get to that when I get to that game. Okay, so basically just wanted to go through like one or two chambers here. Okay, which I have already played a little bit of this. There we are. Alright, so this is, I think, the first chamber. Or is this where I'm at? I never did figure out how to read this map. I think... Okay, yeah, I think that this is where I was at. Well, no, this is not where you start. Crap. Okay, well, anyways, I'll go ahead and try to figure this out. So the object is I need to get this door open. So I need... So I need... Of course I would have started myself on one of the hard puzzles. See, this one only lights up a quarter of it, so it needs all four of them to lock into place. And I do believe I have screwed myself. Right. So, let's see. Is this the... Okay, I think this is not either, but... course. Okay, so. Right. I think that fills back in because, because I don't have the yellow gun yet. So now when you go through here, it's kind of like Portal where you lose any pieces that you had. And when I actually take a yellow piece, it becomes a blue piece because I have the blue gun. Alright. And somehow I'm supposed to get those two plus that one to fill these parts in. And I'm not entirely sure how that's going to happen. Alright, so this probably wasn't the the best game to start off with. It's over here. So yeah, this probably wasn't the best game to start with, especially since I haven't played this in a while, so I'm completely lost. So I wonder if is there a way to just start over? Lasers. Sound like too many cooks. No, that's not right. Stop and go. Man, where the hell did it start me off? No. I remember Into Darkness being pretty early on. So, okay, so Path to Nowhere. So this must be where we started. Nope. Also not where I started, but... This was... Alright, so we're back to the don't look down bit. So now, since I didn't, we can get around here. Oh, yeah, I remember this one. Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is way farther than I would have liked to have been, but okay. You have to... This guy you're not supposed to look at. I think... Where was that? Yeah. That's what it was. These are very cool. If you stare into it, it changes color. Blue, solid wall, back, red, opening. I don't know, it's a cool game. But yeah, definitely not the ideal game to be showing off. Yeah, so that's us. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and go into something a little bit more. This is something that I'd like to do, but the controller still doesn't work quite right as a twin stick shooter. So, yeah, I guess I can show a little bit. Alright, so here we go. Here's the keyboard. TV down just a slight bit. So I can get feedback in the microphone yet. Alright, so simple. And we'll do standard. I don't have any music on here yet, so okay. Oops. So sure, why not? And just play. There we go. Okay. Okay, so in a normal twin stick shooter, you'd move around and you would have your ship would be looking at wherever your right stick is pointing. But with this, since it's a mouse and keyboard, this is like your mouse pointer here. So your ship still points to it, which is fine, except when you aren't moving it around and you move your ship around. So if you're on your way towards like some guys coming in from the left here, let's say, you have to make sure that you're moving both. Yeah. So I'm kind of terrible because of this whole conclusion of what happens when I try to play this with the controller. I have sent some feedback to Valve to hopefully get the controller updated to to function a twin-stick shooter. Like it's a proper twin-stick shooter. So you don't have this little reticule in the way, for one. And two, so you actually fire where you're pointing on the screen. Because right now I'm pointing left, but if I go to the too far to the left now, all of a sudden I'm firing to the right, even though I'm pointing to the left. Which works okay for mouse and keyboard when you definitely have enough speed on the mouse cursor to be able to move it around. Holy shit, what am I doing? So yeah, I probably am not going to get through this. Oh, I did get through it. Wow. Okay. Well, not as terrible as I could have done, but yeah, so basically, like I was saying, the whole mouse and keyboard thing works great when you're actually using a mouse and keyboard, but when you're trying to use a controller, it's not quite as precise as a mouse, and so you lose some of that precision. So it's better as a twin stick shooter. It would be better if the pads actually function as analog sticks. So instead of having the reticule on the screen, it would just, wherever you move your right thumb is where your ship is pointing to. That would work. To me, that would work better. Okay, so go ahead and go back. So yeah, so it's Beathazard, and it really does. I mean, it works really well, except for, that particular instance. Oh, bye. There we go. Except for that particular instance of not being, a proper twin stick shooter or twin stick setup for it. If you can get past that, games like that could work well. It's kind of the similar thing with Bastion. Since it has a twin stick type setup as well, it has the same issues on it. It works. It's just not as ideal as it could be. So, and that's one of the things too, is I hope that I will be getting at least a prototype of the newest prototype that's come out for the Steam controller, the one that actually has an analog stick on it, just to see, how things have progressed. They've changed the button layout to be a little bit closer to a traditional controller. Still has the two pads, which I love the two pads. I think that is probably the best innovation in a controller, or in controllers, since the analog stick, basically. It is the closest thing that I've seen to a proper mouse and keyboard in controller form, and it does work very well. I had basically just started some Borderlands 2 when it came to Steam. Or not Steam, but when it came to Steam OS, or Linux, I guess, technically. And yeah, it works really, really, really well. Okay, so as you can see, you can roll a mouse pointer if you need it. If not, you can do the normal whatever selection. I do tend to like the mouse and keyboard. It does help out particularly with this controller, because there's still so many games for PC that don't quite properly work for controllers, and they're more more or less set up for mouse and keyboard controls. So it's nice to have that. It's nice to have that option to switch to the mouse and keyboard style controls. Do I have that? Graveyard. Assholes. Show me your head. Oh, technically, shouldn't be bullying the balloons.
Free of bullymongs.
Right.
It would be an even greater achievement if anyone in Liarsburg was still alive to celebrate your victory, but still, well done!
So, yeah, so I'm still getting a little used to my control layout on here. I haven't quite got everything down the way that I want it, but it seems to be working okay. Some of the firefights are a little more hectic than they probably should be. Like that there, I definitely shouldn't have died. I think that was more just my stupidity, just walking straight into him and not really taking cover and doing things the proper way. But yeah, so turn this gun, clear pond, yeah. Now, one thing I have noticed, and it really only seems to be in certain games, like here I'm just running straight forward, and that'll be okay, except when you do kind of a various maneuver. Like if you're moving forward and you go to strafe or whatever, of course it's not going to do it now. I'm showing you and explaining it, but basically it'll just stop, or it'll kind of do quick stuff like that, which I'm forcing it to do that, so that's not the thing having problems right now. Oh, there it goes. No, not anymore. There, yeah. So the controller on the left left pad will actually, the haptic feedback will actually kick off, and that kind of interrupts the run. Oh, here, I'll jump. Let's see if I can get it close enough. I don't know if you can hear that. Hear that clicking? I don't know if you can hear it or not. Anyways, what's happening is the controller, the haptic feedback will fire off on the controller sometimes in the middle of sprinting, and it basically interrupts the sprint. The problem with that is in platforming games in particular, when it happens, your character will basically just stop in the middle of a jump. In particular, the game that it happens in that I've noticed the most is Thomas Was Alone. Where's my reload button? Nope. Oh, I think it was double tap. Nope. Really? What did I set it as? Inventory mouse. Pad, double tap. R, yeah, that should be my reload. Why is that not doing it? Okay. There he is. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, like in Thomas Was Alone, when you're running to make a jump, and you jump, and if the haptic feedback goes off while you're in the middle of the jump, you'll just drop wherever you're at. It kind of like it loses your momentum entirely. In a game like this, it's not so bad. I haven't really run into any issues, at least on the Windows side. I've because it's the only other time that I've played this with this controller to test it out. So it's more just an annoyance in this, where you're in the middle of a sprint and then just all of a sudden you stop sprinting. You gotta start sprinting again. But yeah, so it's just little things, and it's little things like that I think are I'm hoping that they're fixing on the new controller, fixing the sensitivity of the pads and stuff like that. So if they can get that worked out, they're pretty much gonna have themselves an ideal PC controller. That was a total miss. Ow.
Most efficacious. Bullymongs will think twice about raiding peaceful cities in the future. Hopefully.
Okay. I do still need to figure out something better for my microphone situation, because I would actually like to be able to turn the volume up on my TV without the microphone picking it up so much. And I'm not entirely sure how to do that just yet. If I can get that figured out so that I can actually listen to the TV, which I think I can probably turn it up a little bit more for the time being. But yeah, I want to cancel that. Of course, now the thing is doing it all the time. Oops. Yeah, come on. Work, damn you, work. When it works great. It just has a little annoyance of that sprint. But it's alright. It's still beta. It's still stuff to be tested. Oh, yeah, this is what I was saying. So I didn't know that you could actually right-click to bring up this stuff. Because I really had no way to map these two buttons. The compare and inspect and all that. In addition to all the other buttons that you need without making them duplicate buttons. So it's nice that that is added. Alright, that's 26. I probably want to go with incendiary, I believe. So I'm going to sell you. And oops. Yeah.
High quality, low prices, and no questions asked.
It was nice having the... Oh, actually no, I want to keep that. I didn't realize that was a green. Yeah, I'll probably hold on to it for now. We'll see how the... Oops. See how the inflammatory one will go. But, alright, let me go turn these guys in. Yeah.
Please make Captain Flint's death as prolonged as possible, would you? Quite the douche he is.
Curious if that's getting picked up on the microphone. Okay, so... And we'll do that.
If you're to survive out here for any length of time, you'll need a better shield. I humbly suggest paying a visit to the old Crimson Raider safe house. You'll need to take the elevator up there.
Okay. And... yeah, it's here. Right, that one. Claptrap's boat. God, it's been so long since I've been back to the very beginning of the game. Alright. Abandoned shop informer. Right, I know where that's at. That is... yeah.
Down.
data all cleared. I'll probably come back in. Oops. Heard something. Ah. God. Yeah. Alright, so I'm pretty terrible with the controller. Ah, Jesus. Also with this gun, apparently. Ooh, fuck you.
Do this!
I'm dying here. Okay. Yeah, like I said, this is still a work in progress on this one for me. I need to figure out the sensitivity, need to figure out better ways to set up the buttons, and yeah, I'm not gonna keep dying out there. Yeah, it's like I said, it's as close to mouse and keyboard as any controller can get, I think, but it's still not quite there. And kind of losing my train of thought here, but it needs some work, needs some refinement, and I think with a little bit of refinement, they'll have a product that will be just about perfect. Particularly in getting it to emulate not only the mouse and keyboard like it already does, but also emulate the Xbox controller. Well, I say Xbox controller, just in general a standard controller. Just because their button layouts are better for using a controller. I know that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but at the ABXY button layout on a standard controller is more intuitive, especially for somebody like me who has played games on console or with controller for almost 30 years now. Almost 30 years now. It's a layout that's more familiar, and this split ABXY, it takes you a second, 2 seconds, however long it takes to get your brain to think, oh yeah, the button that I need to hit is over here now, instead of where it would intuitively be on a normal controller. So go ahead and get out of here and move game. See what we get. Trying to remember what not what I've installed, but what I've already got keyboard or controls configured for. I do know I have Dust. So that one, I'll have to remember what the controls on it are. Now this is one of the games that works just about perfectly with this controller. I've had no issues with it. There we go. I'll go and resume where I'm at. Oh shit. I'm trying to remember what my buttons do here. Okay. Alright, so that does not need to be... yeah, it is on keyboard mode. I need to get that off of there. Oh, the graphics shifted. It's weird. Oh, this is interesting. These are new. These were not here before. So you can actually configure these to be gamepad buttons. Yeah, okay. I'll have to play with that some, because that's pretty cool. Okay. And save. And I believe... crap, actually. I'll go back into that. Ring modifier. That's what I wanted to do. Set it to shift. There we are. Done. Save. Okay. So that way when I... put the direction. Jump that. Yeah. Okay, got it. I gotta stop that. Let me get out to a little battle area. Go there. Oops. What did I do? Okay. I say I've never had problems with this game, but now all of a sudden I am. I can't get the sprint working. Damn it. Naturally, I would go off the screen. This is a new area. I need to get here anyways, so this okay, this will work. But yeah, I wish I could figure out why. Say yes. Figure out why sprint is not working. If I want you, Eric. Where's the, hold on. It may be that the game does not have sprint. Where's the sprint? Just H circle this one and this dust. Is there not a sprint? Surely there's a sprint. Oh, maybe there's not. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the things that's does amaze me about this game is that everything in it is done by one person. All of the art, all of the assets, all of the backgrounds, all of the animations, everything. And it's kind of amazing to me that one person, in this day and age, one person can still do that with a game. And you know, there's some question of whether or not, you know, it's a furry game or whatever, and who cares? It's not the, you know, the whatever deviation or deviant, which I hate saying that because it just sounds so prudish, but it's not the pornographic or my throat is fucking dry. The furry people that dress up as animals and have, anthropomorphized, whatever it's called, animals, and I'll just stop talking now. I am not entirely sure what I'm going for, but it's basically it shouldn't matter that the characters in the game are anthropomorphized animals. I mean, look at Sonic the Hedgehog, look at Fox McCloud, look at damn near every video game character from when we were kids. They're all freaking anthropomorphized animals, and it shouldn't matter that, maybe, oh my god, this is done by somebody who might be in the furry fandom. I don't care. As long as I'm not seeing foxes with gigantic cocks hanging out and shit like that, I'm okay with that.
Hello again, my friend. I suspected you would return.
And probably should grab some more health items.
Your transaction is most appreciated. Watch your
that
back,
for now.
my friend.
But yeah, so as you can see, I mean, the game, the controller works very well for games like this, and you'd think when it works well for stuff like this, that it's going to work well for, pretty much anything, like, oh shit, that's a bomb. I forgot about those guys. Anyway, so yeah, you kind of think when controller works well for something like this, that it's pretty much going to work. Pretty much work pretty well for anything out there, but there are some games that it's, even though it works well enough, god, even though it works well enough for them, like with Borderlands. There are some lingering issues that could use some fixing, and once they get them fixed, it's going to be a good day. Good. Plus space. S plus space. Oh, to drop down. Gotcha. Let's continue on. Looks like I could crawl under there. It's not. Ah, one of those coins. Yep. And these guys are bastards. Well, I think this is actually the first one I've gotten through without taking a hit. Nice. So I think that there's a sprint, because it starts to sprint, and then he doesn't. I don't know if it's just the way that he moves. He starts with a little sprint, then he goes up. That's one down. But yeah, I don't know if he just starts with a little bit of a sprint and then he starts moving normal, or if it's the controller not sprinting properly.
Finally,
I don't quite know.
What's the matter? Afraid of the dark?
I laugh at the dark. Actually, I'm afraid of heights.
Wait, heights? How is that possible? You fly all the time, everywhere.
Oh, do I? I must have forgotten. Just like you must have forgotten that I can still fall at any time.
Never looked at it that way. You're an interesting one, Fidget.
And it's kind of cool because with the way that this works, since you don't really have to press a button, like actually tap and click it down, you can just kind of lightly tap and it'll do whatever it is that you're needing to do. Ah, bitch. Ah. Oh, God. taking advantage of me while I'm trying to explain things. Yes, you don't actually have to click and hold it down. You can just kind of lightly tap and it'll, do whatever it is you're needing to do, or whatever it is you have the button assigned to. Oh shit! Okay, guys, we have a problem. Ow! You are bastards. Okay. This. I have another gem. I should increase my attack. I think I should do that. Okay. And
Hello again, my friend.
I need some health.
Return.
I need a lot of health. Let's go get 10 of them. J, search to sell. What was J? What did I have that set as? I don't know. Oh, never mind. I think I do now. Somewhat, yeah, there it is. Okay. So I can sell some stuff. Yeah, currently equipped. Haven't really picked up much of anything. I should sell those. Then we'll start restocking them. Okay, everything else is okay. Nope, you. And you. Yeah, sucks. Not gonna have any, but that's okay. And buy mode.
Your transaction is most appreciated. Watch your back, my friend.
Heal up a bit. And so I should buy some more. Okay. Hit my buttons too quick. I'll do that to get to 10. There we go.
Your transaction is most appreciated.
That. So I'm hoping that I can get through. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna say I really dislike those blob things. So I end up in overkill mode when it comes to him. You're new. Yeah, really now. Oh shit. More of you. Let's see. Yeah, I must say that, save, but I'm going to take care of you guys. Do not want to do that. Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. Spending way too much time on this, but try to get through this stage if possible. Good God. What the shit did I just do? Ah, son of a bitch. What was that?
Fidget, is something wrong?
She's been silenced, Dust. While in this state, she will be unable to cast her projectiles. Fortunately, the effect is only temporary and will fade over time.
You mean Fidget can't talk now? At all? That's terrible. Really awful. Not sure how I'll get by.
Such a dick to Fidget. Alright. Just got a major chill. I don't know what, how the hell I got up here. But okay. Not good. Calendar. Yeah, there was totally more down here. Ah! Gotta remember that. Shit. Asshole. Okay then. Son of a bitch. Ooh. What is down here? Oh, nothing. Okay. Wait, seriously? Okay. So I guess I was supposed to do what I did. And I somehow managed to do it. Completely by accident. Alright. Fair enough. Okay. Not that I'm actually killing those things now. They gave me a shit ton of problems when I first got to him. Ooh, hi. You're dead, you're dead. Nope, give me corn. Corn! Every freaking corn I can get. Oh, hello. And 3 keys to open? I think I have 3 keys. Or left, right, up, yeah. Whatever. Sweet.
Must be getting close.
How can you tell?
Look.
We may still be able to save the others. Let's hurry.
Game does have a way of making you feel like a badass. Just no. No, ooh, hi. Bombs. Gotta do that. so satisfying, the combat in this game. Yes. Alright. Okay. Don't follow me. That's not gonna work.
Recently.
We don't have time to wait for it to die out. There's got to be another way around.
Okay. Oh, shit. You forgetting about that. So apparently you need to go. Oh, hi. A secret. I don't have 4 keys though, do I? Do I? Oh, hold on. Alright. Ah, boy. Herbie girl. Cute. Did I have a piece for that? I didn't think that I did. Keys. Maybe I did. I don't know. Oops. Durables. So, save. Save's coming. Oop. Okay. What the fuck? Right.
I am here to serve.
Upgrade. To oops.
Your transaction is most appreciated. Watch your back, my friend.
Well, I guess I should just get back to that save point and jump into another game. I didn't realize that this one was going to take so long. Was not my intention. Oops. That's what happens when I actually click the button. Or if I click to the right, does that, or tap to the right, does that, or click, it does that. Jump, it's tapping bottom on the right pad, but if I click it, it both jumps and does that. So it's one of those things that it's going to take a little bit getting used to. Ooh, let's go. Depending on your playstyle and stuff like that, it'll just keep your distance, bones. Keep your distance. Alright, save that. Alright, so let's get out. Yes. And we'll go. Move on to something else. Been going for what? How long? About an hour and a half. It's okay. I was hoping to only go about an hour or so, but that's alright. Here we go. What other games did I have set up? Guacamelee works perfectly fine. Kind of has the same deal where you need to go through and make sure your controls are set up. Again, because it's emulating keyboard, there's a lot of times a lot of the combos that you do, you have to not only remember the keys on the keyboard, because it tells you when you're learning the combos, it tells you what keys on the keyboard to use. You're having to remember where you mapped those properly on the controller. So it takes some getting used to it first. Half-Life 2 works really well. Portal 2 works. Portal 2 had some problems when it first came out. It's doing a lot better now. Because when it first came out, it was set to emulate a gamepad, and because of this first prototype, since the ABXY are split, when your game is set up to use a gamepad that uses the traditional ABXY setup, it doesn't work. So I had to, when Portal 2 first came out for Linux or SteamOS, it didn't have the ability to turn off the controller emulation to go back to the keyboard mouse emulation. So it didn't work out too well, but now it has that, and it's all good. Mark of the Ninja plays really well. Metro plays really well. Just trying to think of something to kind of play. I actually just installed this and I've not actually played it yet. And I have no idea how the controls are set up. Yeah. So now this is a problem with Unity games in particular. Is that? Yep. Ah, crap. It's a game. So anyways, Unity games, they usually have a launcher that comes up, and this is another thing that I've sent some feedback on, because it is a problem, especially with so many indie developers using stuff like Unity, where when you launch the game, the controller, because the game is configured for it, the controller basically switches over to controller mode and gets you out of the mouse and keyboard mode. And so when you launch that, the launcher comes up, the launcher's still in the desktop, and it's still waiting for mouse and keyboard input, and you can't do anything with it, so you're just kind of stuck at this launcher. So that's annoying. It's a game I've been wanting to check out, but I need to figure out how I can maybe set it up. I guess maybe I guess I could always just plug in a mouse and keyboard to get through those launchers and stuff, but the whole point of the Steam machine and the Steam controller is that you just do this from your, you can do this from your couch, and you don't have to hook up anything else. You just have the controller and the I don't want to say console because it's not technically a console, but it's basically a console. The Steam machine hooked up to your TV controller to control everything with, so you shouldn't need to worry about launchers popping up. But when they do pop up, there needs to be some way for the controller to switch back into keyboard and mouse mode to work. So, what else? What else? I've not actually played Super Meat Boy with the controller yet, but I've heard that it does very well, particularly from the developer of Super Meat Boy. He said the controller worked extremely well for it. So I will take his word on that. I guess I could show you a little bit of the issue on Thomas Was Alone.
Claire probably needed a nemesis, a villain who would show their true colours at the worst possible moment, hurting all she held dear. Chris was the most obvious choice. He seemed stroppy enough, and his jump was so pathetic that it conveniently avoided Claire's insecurities. Yes, Chris. Diabolical Chris. The fiendish Christopher.
Nope. Okay, that's not gonna work. Actually, we could do that. But it can't go up there, of course. Whoa. Fast wall.
Gone? Was he off somewhere? Plotting Claire's downfall? If Claire was honest, and she had to be because she was a superhero, this was a troubling turn of events. Still, there were reasonably sized bodies of water to cross.
Ooh. There's that stutter. Although it does seem like the game's running better than it was when I first did it. So maybe things have improved. Quite considerably.
Platforms over water, eh? Claire's newly heightened senses told her that there were multiple paths across with various possible configurations of the little posse.
Sorry, Tim. Come on now.
They were doing really well. Claire hoped she could get them all across. John was fully aware he could do this alone. Thomas hoped he'd never have to.
Good. Okay. Christ.
Claire was alone, which was odd, because she wasn't meant to be alone. She needed to be where there were rectangles to save. Being the only superhero in a given space kind of defeats the object. Spikes? That was new. Claire avoided them. She decided they were most likely her kryptonite. Not the rubbish red kryptonite either, the proper radioactive green stuff.
What is that? I wonder if that's coming through on the game, or if that's my TV. There's some major motion blur on those spikes up there. I don't know if that's the TV or not. Oh, nope. Okay then. Okay then. Yeah, I think that may be, that may be my TV. Ooh. It's kind of a low, whatever it's called.
Deja vu. The world was repeating. And this time Thomas was here. Claire felt something had gone wrong. There was a disturbance in the Force. Something had altered the Matrix. The world was reacting to their progress. It was amassing its forces. It was plotting against them. Claire finally had a nemesis.
And here's where we run into the problems. Shit. That this game has with the controller. Too far. Okay, so that is basically perhaps occurred the world generated a splitter to remove the unwanted additional that cell investigates, captures and removes play. Oh, we have a new one. But Britannia exit. So yeah, it didn't do as much as it was when I first played some of it. So I'm wondering if the game got updated to use the controller, because when I would first do it, like you would try to jump across a gap and you would make it about a third or halfway there and then just drop like a stone. And it would take several retries to get it to function properly. And it was pretty frustrating. Oh, okay. But now that seemed to work pretty decently, so cool. Hopefully it is of a... Oh god, I don't want to get to this so bad. Which I hate, because it's like I'm enjoying my playthrough of The Witcher, but I want to get to the second one, because there is some combat's a little janky. The dialogue's a little could use some work. Voice acting could use some work. But I mean, it's a fun game. I'm loving it, but I want to get to the second one. I really do. And I cannot wait for the third one. What else can I try? I guess I could do a little bit of Half-Life 2. There we are. Oops. What the hell did I just do? Weird. Hold on. Okay. I saw the more ways to play, and I was wondering if that was pulling from the in-home streaming, which works pretty well. Not so well on my Wi-Fi, because my Wi-Fi is overloaded. But if you don't have a whole lot of devices going on your Wi-Fi, or if you have preferably a hardline, direct connection between your main gaming PC and your Steam machine. It works perfectly. Like I was playing Borderlands 2 before it came to SteamOS, and played some Bioshock Infinite on it, and it worked out great. Nice and smooth. Just load. Old school source loader, or source UIs.
This is no time to be wandering around. The Combine's closing in.
Now. I should probably turn that down a little bit now, because that's definitely louder.
Stay with me, Freeman.
Did you actually come back to get me? Oh, nice.
This steerable rocket launcher is our best bet for taking down a gunship. Ah, hello. I'll be right with you. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. Using the laser guide, you can steer your rocket past the gunship's defenses and prevent it from shooting down your rocket. This will only anger it at first, but if you can survive long enough to make several direct hits, you'll be rewarded with a prize worthy of any mantelpiece. Now, who's going to be the lucky one to carry it into combat?
Oh, Christ.
Ah, yes. Gordon Freeman. I couldn't have asked for a finer volunteer. Colonel Odessa Cubbage at your service. Gunship! Damn. Let me just send a warning to Lighthouse Point, and then I'll come right up and lend a hand. Go on. Teach that gunship a lesson it will never forget. Remember, use the launcher's laser guide to steer your rocket past the gunship's defenses.
Yeah.
To Lighthouse Point. To Lighthouse Point. Come in. This is Colonel Cummings. Come in, please.
Yeah, this is not going to go well. I can tell you that right now. Okay.
This medkit.
Trying to figure out how to get this into aim past. Okay. More rockets. I always hated this freaking mission too. Bad enough.
Here, ammo.
You can't. Oh, thank you. You can't just shoot it. You have to freaking thread it in there. Get you? I got you. Okay. You have to thread it in there to get it past its defenses. Alright. What I can actually use. Okay. Oh, so I guess I should mention the way that this is set up here. So, okay, so to the controller bindings here. So you have your 4 different weapon slots, even though you have like 8, I think, different weapons, possibly 10 different weapons. The way that it kind of works out is you tap it. Each time you tap it, it switches to the alternate weapon in that slot. Kind of scrolling through them. And yeah, so like hitting slot 1 goes to the crowbar, goes to the gravity gun, back to the crowbar, back to the gravity gun. Slot 2, got your normal pistol, then you got the Magnum. Slot 3, you got your I guess your AR, and then whatever this thing is. And slot 4, shotgun, and I don't have the alternate weapon for this yet. So it works out pretty well. And you can pick up or come on. Throw things. Aim. Oh, okay, that was the alternate fire. My bad. Does this not have an aim? I thought this had an aim. I should probably figure that out.
Well, attack. I gather you've disposed of that gunship, Dr. Freeman. Your reputation, sir, is well deserved. I shall have someone open the gate for you immediately, so that you can drive on. I understand that Dr. Vance is in great need. Use extreme caution when approaching the bridge. Radio silence from that outpost leads me to believe it has come under Combine control. Still, you're clearly the right man for the job. You'll make it through if anyone can. Farewell. And please tell Dr. Vance that Colonel Cubbage regrets not having been able to rescue him in person.
The Freeman must now hurry on. The Eli Vance is held in distress most dire. Is there reason for delay?
Right.
NLO to Lighthouse Point. NLO to Lighthouse Point. Come in. This is Colonel Cubbage. Come in, please.
Oh. Much appreciated. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, this game came out in 2004, if I remember correctly. And yet, everything is interactive. And you can move everything. You can shoot everything. Well, most everything. Not everything, but most everything. And there are games still coming out. And honestly, I believe the reason for it is because the last console generation lasted so long. With the consoles being basically...
Get your car, Doc. You won't get far on foot.
Yeah. With the consoles basically being way underpowered compared to PCs. And so you get some game like this that was actually very well done from a PC perspective. And they even actually managed to get it going on a console, although highly stripped down. It was not as smooth. Anything like that? Whoa, slow down. Oh shit. I definitely have the sensitivity up a little too high on the movement. Gotta fix that. Anyways, point was that with so many things being interactive in a game from 2004, and you got a game that came out in 2013, 2014, that is basically just kind of a gallery. You know, you got, it's nice and pretty, sure. You know, the graphics look nice, but I'm curious. I don't think he's allowed. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I mean the graphics look nice and everything, but you can't do anything. You can't, you know, if there's a bottle on the floor, you can't pick it up. You can't shoot it. You know, if there's crates, which everybody wants you to have crate puzzles, jump on crates, do things with crates. And yeah, you can't pick them up, you can't throw them, you can't break them. This was probably too big to pick up, yeah. So yeah, pick up the crate. Do what you want with it. Get the gravity gun. You can't do anything with this car. One of the only cars that I know of that you can't do anything with. So anyways, yeah, it's just my commentary on modern gaming. That, you know, having the console generation, because the consoles got so popular, everything was developed for consoles, then ported over. And so over the last 9 years now, we've just been kind of stuck in this time warp, you know, of games that look pretty but don't really do anything. And now we're starting to finally see some improvements in the newer generation consoles, but I'm afraid it's going to be the same thing that happened with the last generation. It just won't be kind of immediate like it was last generation. Mainly because the new generation has 8 gigabytes that they can use for RAM, like video RAM. And most PCs only have 1 to 2 gigabytes. Which, you know, coming from the last generation where there was only like 256 megabytes, that's a huge improvement. But yeah, the new generation has the 8 gigabytes that they can use for textures, for loading assets into the game, and the newer PC, or the newer games coming out, when they come out on PC, like Assassin's Creed just came out with Unity, and it basically requires, yeah, I can pick you up, or not. Can I? Yeah. It basically requires like a GTX 680, which, yeah, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, was a $500 video card. Just the video card. I'm not even talking about the rest of the computer. It's just a video card for $500. And even those video cards only have 4 gigs of RAM to use. So, yeah, it's going to be a little while. It'll probably be, well, especially because of the consoles having, let me in. Because of the consoles having 8 gigs with PC ports coming out, I think we're going to see more PC video cards coming out with 8 gigs of RAM on them. For the higher end ones, and 4 gigs for the lower end ones. Like mine has 2 gigs. This one in the Steam machine is a 780, and it has 3 gigs. So even it doesn't have technically enough for Unity, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's also kind of understandable. It's newer technology and needs more resources. So, but like I said, I have the feeling that the generation's going to have the same kind of problem as it did the last time. Once the PC video cards and stuff like that catch up, as far as having the RAM, like the graphics wise, the PC video cards are already way ahead. Way ahead of what the consoles can do. But with the amount of textures and stuff that they can load, and the amount of assets that they can load in RAM, in the video RAM, that's where the consoles get them right now. But it's not going to be long, like I said, before 4 gigabytes is standard on PC graphics card, and you'll get them in a $150 graphic card, and you'll be able to take on Assassin's Creed Unity and not have any problems with it. But it'll be maybe a year, I would say, probably. Yeah, about a year, maybe 2 years at the most, is when we'll start seeing that, and then we'll be right back to where we were. Or we'll be stuck in this time warp of everything being limited to what the consoles can do, and the PCs will just continue to get more and more powerful, but not using that power. Yeah. That's my little rant. And I'm still a console player. I still like playing console games, and I like playing my PC games. So it's not a PC versus console master race thing. I know that the PCs always come out on top, and the reason that they do. Sweet. The reason that they do is because they're not stuck in a certain configuration. And, the argument against that with consoles is that, yeah, they're not stuck in a certain configuration, but you don't have to worry about driver updates and other things like that. Well, you don't really have to worry about that with PCs anymore, because a lot of that stuff is automated. You've got consoles now doing updates, software updates, and patches to video games, and a lot of the advantages that consoles had years and years ago, where you would release a game and the game that you released was the game that you got, no matter when you picked it up to play it again. You didn't have to worry about patching bugs and things like that. But at the same time, if you had a buggy game, well, you kind of shit out of luck. But now, you know, oh, I want you get destroyed. Well, what did I do? I broke the game. But yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, so now, you know, consoles are on the same playing field for the most part as PCs. You know, you've got updates, you've got security patches to do, you've got bug fixes to do on the games, and then the only thing that kind of differentiates them now from PCs is that consoles aren't really upgradable. What? Okay, so yeah, so the disadvantage or the difference is that consoles aren't really upgradable. So as new technologies arise and new things can be done graphically, the consoles can't take advantage of it, whereas PCs can. But because most things are first developed for consoles, then ported to PCs get stuck not being able to take advantage of the new things that they can do, the new tricks and graphic things that they can do. And, you know, the cycle is just going to repeat over and over again. What I would like to see is for Steam machines to kind of enter into that console marketplace and compete head-to-head with the PS4 and with the Xbox One, and really show that a PC can have that same ease of use and that same gameplay experience that you get with consoles. And yes, and then, you know, start attracting more AAA development and actually get some of these games that are coming out for Windows, get them coming out for Linux and for SteamOS in particular. I think that would really cause a huge shift in the way that games, like the game industry, goes. Because if you have a small, relatively inexpensive PC that can be upgraded in, you know, say 3 years, and to put a new video card in it, or to put a bigger hard drive in it, or to put more RAM in it if you need more RAM, whatever it is that you need, I think that's going to be a good thing. And I think that when the developers get on board and start bringing parity to what they're doing on Windows to SteamOS is when we're going to start seeing that happen. You know, of course, that also would then come with the built-in advantage of PC gaming, that you have backwards compatibility over the last 30 years of gaming. And if you want to go back and you want to play a video game that you played on DOS, okay. You know, you don't have DOS around anymore, but there is DOSBox. And DOSBox emulates DOS just about. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but it's good enough to get some games and stuff running on. If you wanted to go back and you wanted to play some of the... I guess I'll go ahead and log out here. Shut down. Okay, I'm losing my train of thought here. So yeah, if you have a, what was I saying? If you want to play a game from Windows 95, you can play it still. Windows XP, you can still play it. Windows, 98, you can still play. DOS, you can still play. Amiga has emulators that you can jump in and play. So there's no reason that you couldn't play every game that you've ever owned in your life on a PC. With consoles, you don't get that. And every time you go to a new generation of console, you're forced with either holding on to the old generation to be able to play the games that the library that you built up, or set it aside and move on. And I've always thought that was a choice that you shouldn't have to make. And I think Nintendo, even though they're not fully backwards compatible yet, they at least stay somewhat backwards compatible. Like the 3DS can still play DS games. The DS could still do Game Boy Advance games. I would like to see something that would do 3DS, DS, and Game Boy Advance. The Wii U can still play Wii games. The Wii could play GameCube games. So you at least had at least one generation back that you could go to. But yeah, so Nintendo kind of has the right idea to go back a generation. Sony was doing the right idea with the PS2. You could play PS1 games. With the first PS3s, you could play PS2 and PS1 games, but then they started taking that away because they wanted to resell you the games that you had before. With the Xbox 360, some of the games worked because they used an emulator instead of being actually hardware backwards compatible. And now with the Xbox One, you get nothing. Although they are talking about possibly building an emulator. I kind of doubt the validity of that, because just sheer numbers don't match up. One of the golden rules of emulating is you always want to make sure that whatever hardware you have is at the very least 10 times as powerful as the hardware that you're emulating. And I'm sorry, but the Xbox One is not 10 times more powerful than the 360. And it's actually probably not even in the ballpark of twice as powerful. All it really has is a better video card and more RAM. The CPU in it, it's a decent CPU, but it's only about half the speed, like raw horsepower, half the speed, even though it has more cores. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do an emulator for the 360. I think if they're going to do anything, it's going to have to be kind of what Sony's doing with the PlayStation. Is it PlayStation Now? Where you can stream the older games to your new console. So I don't know. I think Valve has the right idea with the Steam machines, and I think that there's people out there that don't see the value in it and don't understand why would I want a Steam machine? I have a gaming PC. Or why would I want to install SteamOS and not Windows when SteamOS only has 600 games versus Windows having thousands and thousands and thousands of games? But it's still beta, it's still unreleased software, and it's all in testing phases. And I think the fact that some developers, especially some of the AAA developers, are helping out or are developing for it, I think that's a good sign. I think that's a very encouraging sign. And I think the developers that are doing this, they're seeing it for what it is too. That it's a way to progress the medium in a way that consoles just kind of stifle it for the better part of a decade before getting a little bit of a leap. Then you can add all this new cool stuff that you could have been doing all along because PCs allowed it. PCs had the ability to do it. So yeah, I don't know. I think think Valve's onto something, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm hoping that it'll work out. I'm hoping it'll work out well. So, anyways, I have, my God, rambled on for freaking ever. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it quits and probably throw in a movie or something and get ready to get some sleep and wait for Smash Brothers for one more day. Alright, guys. Well, thank you again for watching. Apologize for rambling on for so long. And hope at least the first part where I was actually showing off some of the Steam Machine stuff and the Steam controller stuff, I'm hoping that was at least somewhat informative. And yeah. Well, again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.